Something is wrong. It's not just me. Everybody feels it. At first, you try to ignore it. I tried. People always say you shouldn't jump to conclusions. Don't get swept up by rumors. Don't be paranoid. But paranoia is what keeps you alive. If you see a spark and ignore it, one day you're going to wake up burning. I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy. I live in a regular apartment complex in Tampa. I have a job at the CVS down the street, nothing fancy, but it pays for rent, ramen, and Netflix. My mom calls too much. I've got a roommate, Leo, total slob, good heart. I keep my headphones on, work the night shift, and avoid drama. It's supposed to be simple. So when things started to get weird, I blamed myself at first. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overtired. Maybe I'm just bored. But then it got obvious. I noticed it with Mrs. Fisher, the old lady from 3B who always waters her plants at 6 sharp. She stopped looking up when you passed her, just stood there, hand limp, watering the tile instead of the dirt. I waved. She didn't blink. When I said her name, she twitched and jerked around like she'd forgotten English. Then, next day, she was fine, smiled, waved, asked about the Bucks. But her eyes, man, way too wide, like she was watching me but not seeing me. People started acting off all over the place. Leo was next. He left a bowl of cereal in the fridge, milk and all. He stared at me like he couldn't place who I was. My buddy Jamie at work spilled Red Bull down her shirt and just stared at it for 5 minutes like she didn't know what it was. A guy at the 7-Eleven parked across 2 spaces, walked in with his wallet in his mouth and tried to buy a scratch ticket by grunting. I laughed it off with Leo. Florida man strikes again, he said. But he didn't laugh. He just smiled, mouth too wide, like someone told him to do it. At night, I looked out my window and saw my neighbor, Rick, standing in his yard, staring up at the sky for hours. Didn't move, didn't blink. I almost filmed it for TikTok, but it felt wrong. It felt private. It felt like something bad was just behind it. Food started tasting wrong. I'd cook ramen and it tasted metallic. Even bottled water smelled off like blood pennies. Leo said the air smelled weird too. Copper or burnt toast, he said, rubbing his nose, looking confused. My phone kept buzzing with weird local news notifications, missing pets, odd illnesses, people complaining about headaches and nosebleeds. Someone at work said all the birds had vanished from their yard. I started keeping my window shut at night. It didn't help. The news tried to keep it light. Local flu outbreak, atypical weather patterns, strange seasonal allergies. But I saw more cop cars outside every day, lights flashing at midnight, never a siren. I asked a cop what was up. He told me to get back inside. He didn't look me in the eye. There was a weird tension everywhere, like everyone was waiting for someone else to say it out loud. Something is happening and nobody knows what. At the CVS, we started getting run on supplies, first masks, then painkillers, then bottled water. One lady tried to buy all our hydrogen peroxide. She had scabs all down her arms, eyes wild and darting. People argued in line, got into shoving matches. Jamie quit. She said she couldn't sleep anymore, kept seeing people in her yard at night. Leo stopped leaving the apartment. He kept the blinds shut, locked the door, unplugged the microwave. Just feels wrong out there, he said. Don't you feel it? The paranoia settled over everything. I started double-checking locks, stacking cans behind the door. Leo made a habit of watching people out the peephole for hours. The tension felt like a storm that hadn't broken yet. Then, one night, something banged on the wall outside our apartment. Just a single hard bang. I froze. Leo looked at me, face drained of color. We didn't move, didn't speak. There was another bang, louder. Something scraped along the wall. We turned off all the lights and sat in the dark, barely breathing. That's how it starts. Not with monsters, with people, with your own friends, neighbors, the folks who say hi in the hallway, with things that don't make sense but feel wrong. The smoke before flame. We didn't sleep after that night. The banging stopped, but our nerves never settled. Leo kept the baseball bat in his lap. I spent hours scrolling through Reddit and Twitter, watching videos of people catching neighbors acting weird or pets going missing. Hashtags like zombie signal and stay inside started trending, mostly as jokes. I didn't laugh. The whole city felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for the punchline, and nobody wanted to hear it. I started hearing more noises. In the hallway, in the vents, from the floor above, scratching, dragging. Once I heard someone sobbing through the pipes. My building had always been noisy, but not like this. The worst was the knock at 3:30, I am not. Not on my door, but on the wall right behind my head. 5 sharp raps, slow and steady. Leo and I sat together in the dark, listening. We didn't speak, we just listened. I kept thinking, if you stay quiet, maybe whatever is out there will forget you're here. Days blurred together. No one was going to work anymore. Streets emptied except for the occasional car blasting down the road, radio up, windows shut tight. My phone blew up with group texts. People asking if anyone knew what was happening, if the cops were coming, if anyone was leaving town. Nobody had answers. Food delivery stopped. Trash piled up in the hallway. I started rationing. Leo tried to order pizza just to feel normal. It never came. That's when it really hit me. This wasn't just a bad week. It wasn't something you could sleep off or wait out. Leo started talking about his parents in Miami. He wanted to go to them, but he was scared to go outside. He kept saying he just needed to see them, needed to know they were okay. I told him to wait. That was all I could say. Wait. Just wait a little longer. Then came the first scream. It echoed up the stairwell in the middle of the night, bouncing around the tile like a siren. High, sharp, then cut off. We didn't move. Nobody did. But after that, everything started unraveling. The next morning, we woke to the smell of burning plastic. I looked out the window. Someone had set a dumpster on fire. Another apartment's door was wide open, papers blowing out into the hall, blood on the walls. My hands shook. I checked every lock twice. Leo started crying. He said he saw someone crawl into the laundry room, moving wrong, joints bending the wrong way, hands curled like claws. I believed him. I had no reason not to. And that's when I realized the city was gone. The news kept playing, but it was just reruns. Weather, sports, old local interviews. My phone stopped loading, the CDC's page. No emergency alerts, just silence and static. The only voices left were the ones screaming or whispering in the hallway at night. We sealed ourselves inside. Leo taped up the windows. I blocked the door with furniture. I slept on the floor with a frying pan next to my head. We filled the bathtub with water just in case. Every noise outside felt like it was meant for us, like we were the last people on earth and everything that was left wanted in. We whispered instead of talking. We used our phones on low brightness. Once something scraped at the window. Leo almost lost it. He grabbed the bat and started shouting at the glass. I had to drag him back. I told him if we made noise, it'd just get worse. He sobbed into his shirt, shaking. I didn't blame him. I almost did the same. After 3 days, I ran out of coffee. I tried to laugh about it, how stupid, to worry about caffeine while the world falls apart. But that was the moment it hit me. There was no normal coming back. Not for us, not for anyone. And that's when the pounding came back, not just on the wall, but on the doors, on the windows, up and down the hallway. It wasn't just one thing anymore. It was a lot. A crowd. The apartment shook. I wanted to cover my ears, but I couldn't. I had to listen. I had to know if they'd get in, because if they did, I knew we wouldn't die right away. We'd change. We'd become part of it. That was worse than dying. Way worse. We lasted 5 days. 5 days locked in, curtains shut, eating whatever was left in the pantry, crackers, peanut butter, cold beans out of the can. Leo's face got pale and sweaty. He started muttering under his breath. I pretended not to hear. I didn't want to think about what happened if he snapped. On the 6th night, I woke up to him standing over me, bat in his hands, eyes glassy. I yelled and he dropped it, sobbing. I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. I can't sleep. I keep hearing things. I hugged him just to keep him from falling apart. We both knew what was happening to us. The walls felt like they were shrinking. The banging never stopped. Sometimes it sounded like nails scratching. Sometimes like someone trying the handle. I barely slept. I kept thinking, if I sleep, will I wake up like them? On the 7th day, the power finally died. Silence, except for our own breathing and the occasional scream, farther away every time. The building felt emptier, or maybe just quieter. Leo said he saw someone alive, moving in the stairwell, but when we peeked, there was nobody. I started wondering if we were both losing it. Our food was almost gone. We had to risk it. We had to leave. There was no plan, just run, don't look back. We filled our backpacks with what we could carry, and I shoved the last protein bar into my pocket. Leo grabbed the bat. I took the frying pan. When we opened the door, the hallway stank of rotting meat and bleach. We ran. We didn't check who or what was watching. Downstairs, the lobby was trashed, blood smeared on the elevator. Someone or something had clawed up the walls. I didn't see any bodies, which somehow made it worse. We burst out the front doors, blinded by sunlight. The street was empty, but I could see black smears all down the sidewalk, windows smashed, cars abandoned, doors swinging open. It looked like a war zone. Tampa was gone. We headed east, just running, ducking behind anything we could find. The only sound was the wind, the caw of a lone crow, our shoes slapping the pavement. After a block, I saw the first of them, a group of people huddled under a bus stop, not moving, eyes blank, skin grayish. We gave them a wide berth. Leo squeezed my arm. Don't stop, don't look. We made it 5 blocks before we ran into trouble. A group of survivors, real people, desperate, armed, blocked the road, shouting questions. Who are you? Are you sick? Show us your arms. They had a makeshift checkpoint, baseball bats, a hunting rifle. I put my hands up. Leo did the same. They let us through, but only after patting us down and screaming in our faces. The fear on their faces was worse than the threats. We kept going, kept running, just moving until our legs gave out. Leo's hands were shaking so bad he dropped the bat. I picked it up. He just stared at the ground, mumbling about his parents. I wanted to help, but I didn't know what to say. I just kept moving. We found a place to hide for the night, an old office with one working lock. I tried to sleep. Leo stared at the ceiling. I could hear movement outside, shuffling feet, low groans, then a scream. Not close, but not far either. I gripped the bat and prayed for sunrise. I don't even believe in God, but I prayed anyway. The next morning, Leo was gone, just gone. The door was still locked, his bag was still there, no note, no sound. I waited, but he never came back. I still don't know if he left on purpose or if someone or something took him. I searched for hours, calling his name, not caring who heard, nothing. That's when I realized I was alone. And when you're alone, the world changes. I broke into stores, grabbed food, anything I could carry. I stole from cars, smashed windows. I fought off a woman who tried to take my bag. She had wild eyes and bloody teeth. I hit her with a bat and ran. It didn't feel like survival. It felt like murder. I kept moving, kept stealing, kept lying. Every face was a threat. Every sound made me jump. There was a camp set up in a school gym, barricaded with desks and chairs. I tried to join, but they turned me away, said they were full. I saw what they did to people who didn't listen, heard the screams. I ran again. I was captured once, some group that called themselves the New Law. They stripped me, tied my hands, laughed while they checked my skin for bites, said they'd kill me if I so much as sneezed. They kept me locked in a closet with 3 others. I watched them beat a man to death for trying to drink from their stash. That's when I learned the living are worse than the dead. Yeah, I escaped. Don't ask me how. I just did. I ran until my lungs burned. Found another shelter, only to watch it fall 2 days later when someone inside turned. People panicked. They crushed each other against the doors, trampled the old, stabbed each other for a place by the window. I saw a woman bite her own husband before anyone even knew he was infected. I ran. I didn't look back. The dead didn't have to kill us. We did it ourselves. Now I walk alone. I don't trust anyone. I don't stop moving. I don't stay anywhere for more than a night. I'd rather face the monsters out there than the ones with names and faces. Out here, at least, I know what I'm running from. But some nights, I hear banging. Not just on walls or doors, but inside my head. I see faces in the dark. Leo, Jamie, my mom, people I used to know. Sometimes I wonder if I missed the real signals, the things that could have saved us if I'd paid attention. Or maybe it was always too late. Maybe the first signal wasn't the people acting weird or the smell in the air or the taste of water. Maybe it was just the feeling you get in your gut when you know something is wrong, the feeling you ignore at your own risk.